Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the Jeffrey Epstein case. I mean, it's a story that truly shook the foundation of elite society, didn't it?
Absolutely. And it just got deeper and more mysterious with his death, revealing this disturbing web of corruption that still casts a really long shadow.
Right. So our mission for you, our listener, is to really understand why so many people believe there's just far more to this story than we've ever officially been told.
And it's crucial to stress. What you're about to hear, it's all based entirely on documented facts. We're talking court records, solid investigative journalism, sworn testimony.
We're letting the evidence speak for itself here.
Exactly.
So when you look at Jeffrey Epstein's beginnings, it's actually quite humble, isn't it, for someone who ended up moving in those circles?
Yeah, very much so. Born January 20th, 1953, Coney Island, Brooklyn. His early life, it really gave no hint of the elite world he'd later penetrate.
Just a normal middle-class household from what we know.
Pretty much. Father was a groundskeeper, mother a homemaker. But he was clearly gifted, especially in maths.
Right. Skipped 2 grades, graduated high school at just 16.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, the really crucial detail. He briefly attended Cooper Union, NYU, but never actually finished a college degree.
No degree. And that's where the story starts to get strange, isn't it?
That's precisely where the paradox begins. Because despite having 0 credentials, no teaching experience, no college degree, in 1974, he gets hired.
To teach math and physics, no less.
At Manhattan's Dalton School, I mean, this is the elite school, caters to the children of billionaires, diplomats, Wall Street titans.
So how does that happen? It doesn't just happen.
Well, you look at who is in charge. Donald Barr, father of the future Attorney General William Barr, was the headmaster then.
Interesting connection.
And Barr himself was a former intelligence officer, OSS, the precursor to the CIA. Now, Barr resigned in February 74, effective that summer. Epstein starts in September.
So maybe hired under an interim head, or Barr pulled strings before leaving?
It's unclear, but either way, this was Epstein's foot in the door. His entry into that elite society, his first contact with the children of the ultra-wealthy.
And even back then.
Yeah.
There were whispers, weren't there?
Yeah.
About his behavior.
There were. Parents reportedly found him inappropriate with female students even then. It just shows this access.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about merit. It seems like it was granted. Like, influence mattered more than qualifications, even from the start.
So he's got this unlikely foothold in elite education.
Mm-hmm.
How does he then make the leap into the cutthroat world of Wall Street?
It was apparently a very specific, life-changing connection. The story goes, at a parent-teacher conference, he really impressed the father of one student.
Just charmed him.
Apparently so. Impressed him enough that this father referred him to Alan Greenberg, the CEO of Bear Stearns.
Wow, Bear Stearns, that's a huge lead.
Huge. And Epstein himself admitted he didn't even know what a stock or a bond was at the time. Yet within 4 years, he becomes the youngest limited partner in the firm's history.
That's almost unbelievable.
It's virtually unheard of. But then the story takes another turn. In 1981, he's asked to leave Bear Stearns.
Why?
For what he later described under oath as a reg violation. It's a vague term, some kind of securities law breach. The exact details are still murky.
Okay, so for most people, that's it. Career over on Wall Street.
Absolutely. That should have been the end. But for Epstein, it was just the beginning.
So he leaves Bear Stearns under this cloud, a securities violation, and immediately turns around and says, I only work with billionaires now.
Right. It's audacious, to say the least.
Yeah.
How does someone with that recent history pull that off?
How did he? Did it work?
It seems it did, at least initially. But what's really fascinating, or maybe revealing, is that to this day, only one billionaire client has ever been publicly identified.
And that's Leslie Wexner.
Leslie Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret, L Brands. And their relationship was, well, extraordinary isn't even strong enough, unprecedented.
How so?
In July 1991, Wexner grants Epstein full power of attorney over his finances. Full power.
Wait, what does that actually mean? Like, he could sign checks.
He could sign checks, buy and sell properties, borrow money, make legally binding decisions for one of the richest men in America. Sweeping authority. And it lasted until 2007.
16 years. Incredible.
And look at the Manhattan townhouse. 9 East 71st Street. Wexner buys it for $13.2 million in '89.
Prime real estate.
Absolutely. Then, around 1996, he transfers it to Epstein for $0, nothing.
For free. A $13 million mansion.
For free.
No.
Formally transferred to an Epstein entity in 2011. Prosecutors later valued it at $77 million in 2019.
$77 million. given to him.
Given to him. And Epstein absolutely leveraged this connection. It gave him immense credibility. He even presented himself as a global talent scout for Victoria's Secret.
Which we now know he used to lure and manipulate young women and girls.
Exactly. That level of financial control, that free mansion, it's chilling. It suggests extreme dependency, leverage, a dynamic just ripe for exploitation and silence.
And what makes that mansion transfer even more disturbing, really sinister, is what they later found inside it, right?
Absolutely. The very mansion Wexner gave him, it was later found to be wired. Hidden cameras.
Everywhere.
In every single room, including bathrooms and bedrooms.
Which immediately makes you think.
Blackmail. Why else would you do that? It strongly suggests that. Epstein wasn't just collecting wealth, he was collecting people. His social circle became this who's who of global power and influence.
We've seen the names in court documents, public records.
Former presidents Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Britain's Prince Andrew, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, actor Kevin Spacey, magician David Copperfield, lawyer Alan Dershowitz.
Former Governor Bill Richardson, former VP Al Gore. The list goes on.
It really does. And again, it's crucial to state there's no current evidence linking any of these individuals to Epstein's actual crimes, but the association is documented.
But it wasn't just politicians and celebrities, was it? He branched out.
Oh, yeah. He cultivated deep ties in the scientific community, too. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Frank Wilczek, Gerard Hooft, David Gross, Murray Gell-Mann.
He funded conferences they attended.
Conferences with people like Stephen Hawking, Lisa Randall, Alan Guth, Kip Thorne, big names in theoretical physics.
And Harvard connections as well.
Yes. Mathematical biologist Martin Nowak, cognitive scientist Steven Pinker correction. Original notes say Stephen Kosling likely meant Pinker or similar prominent figure, sticking to documented connections where possible, but noting the type. Former Dean Henry Rosofsky, geneticist George Church. He'd host these exclusive gatherings mixing science and high society, like that gravity conference in the Virgin Islands, organized by Lawrence Krauss.
That's just an astonishingly diverse and powerful network. It goes way beyond just access, doesn't it? What do you think the strategic value was for him, cultivating all these different types of powerful people?
Well, it positioned him, didn't it? He wasn't just rich, he was connected intellectually, politically, socially.
Right at the center of these elite circles, a fixture at events, conferences, parties.
All while, as we now know, he was building this vast criminal enterprise in the shadows. The sheer breadth of it is staggering.
It really is.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, I mean, the Epstein case really represents one of the greatest failures, arguably, of the American justice system in modern history.
How so? Explain that.
Well, just look at the pattern. He gets this sweetheart plea deal back in 2008. Total protection, basically.
Which allowed him to keep going for another decade.
With impunity. Then, finally arrested again, and he dies under extremely suspicious circumstances. Multiple institutional failures in the jail system cited.
And his main co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She's convicted, yes, but only for trafficking to him. No other billionaires, no clients, no other co-conspirators charged, nothing.
And the government says, case closed, nothing more to see here.
Pretty much. They claim there's nothing more to investigate. Promises of releasing information, broken. And then Maxwell, a convicted sex trafficker, gets transferred to what's been described as a luxury prison.
It feels like, as you said, a giant middle finger to the victims and the public.
It really does. And you also have the major financial institutions. Their oversight failed massively. They kept processing suspicious transactions for a known registered sex offender for years.
You look at all that, and it's hard to argue. This just isn't the behavior of a justice system working properly. It feels like a system designed, whether intentionally or not, to protect the powerful.
At the expense of the powerless.
Exactly. People like us, and especially the victims. These were vulnerable young girls, some as young as 13. They deserve protection. They deserve justice.
Instead, they got a system that seemed to prioritize the comfort and protection of their abusers.
Which brings us back to those core questions, doesn't it? The ones that just hang there.
They really do. And they arise directly from the facts, the records, the testimony. If Epstein was just some lone predator, why the extraordinary protection from the justice system for so long?
Right. And if there was no broader network, why convict Maxwell of trafficking at all? Who else was she trafficking to besides Epstein?
And why did that infamous plea deal grant immunity to known and unknown co-conspirators? Who were they protecting?
What about the intelligence connection? That alleged comment to Alex Acosta that Epstein belong to intelligence?
It's alleged, unconfirmed, but it's out there. And if there's no blackmail operation, why wire your homes with hidden cameras everywhere? Bathrooms, bedrooms.
Makes no sense otherwise.
None. And if there's nothing to hide, why won't the government release the full files? Why did a presidential candidate promise transparency and then completely reverse course once in office?
Why is Ghislaine Maxwell living in relative comfort while her victims are still suffering the consequences?
And why did the banks keep facilitating his finances? What happened to all those computers, the storage devices the FBI seized? Over 70 of them, wasn't it? Where's all that data?
These aren't conspiracy theories, folks. These are legitimate questions based on the known facts.
Right.
And you, the American people, you really have a right to answers.
This whole saga, it just lays bare this profound breakdown. It reveals such uncomfortable truths about how power really works, how wealth seems to buy, well, immunity, different rules for different people.
And nothing seems to change.
Mm-hmm.
Maxwell's prison transfer, the lack of transparency.
It feels like the cover-up just continues, doesn't it?
It really does. And, you know, the powerful people, the scumbags involved or who enabled this, they'd prefer we just forget about Jeffrey Epstein. Just move on.
Let it fade away, except that justice was served.
But it wasn't. Justice has not been served, and this case is absolutely not closed. We cannot forget. We have to keep talking about it.
Because if we let this get swept under the rug, if we just accept that some people are truly above the law, that there are no limits to what the powerful can get away with, then what does that say about our system?
The victims deserve better.
The victims of Jeffrey Epstein deserve so much better. The American people deserve better. And the truth deserves to be revealed.